Okay, hello and welcome back everyone. Hopefully you've watched our other videos with my two friends here, Michelle and Eric, where they talked about being ALTs in a rural town for the Interac Corporation as opposed to being Jets ALTs. And now we're going to talk a little bit more about their kind of day-to-day life being married. You guys have been married for how long?
It's been 7 years.
7 years.
7 years, good. And so when you applied, unlike some people we know that come over and bring someone with them and they want to be married, or their boyfriend and girlfriend at the time they apply or something, you guys were married before you applied,
Yes.
applied as married people,
Yes.
told Interac that you wanted to be placed together.
Yes.
Have you met any Interac people at conferences that were placed in different cities?
No.
Good, okay, so that doesn't happen. So, do you feel like maybe you got a larger apartment or any special treatment because there was two of you?
I think so.
The apartment,
Yeah.
definitely the apartment, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we would have had smaller ones had we been
Okay.
individual for sure.
And so you as part of Interact, you have to buy your own flight over. So you obviously flew over together,
Yeah.
and you attended orientation together,
Yes.
Yep.
and then you came out here to the city you live in now,
Mm-hmm.
and you took over for two different ALTs, obviously who weren't married, right?
Right.
So when you get invited to, we have these things in Japan called enkais, these drinking parties or things. Do they often say, "Oh, please bring your husband" or "Please bring your wife"? Or no.
Never happened.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's, of course, an acknowledgement that we're married, but never any kind of invites like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's, yeah.
For work functions.
Yeah.
Because do you think they do that because they know that Michelle might also have a nomikai or something to go to that weekend,
think
I
or
don't think
Culturally,
that's
they do
why,
that.
though. I think it's a cultural thing because
Yeah.
none of them bring their spouses,
okay,
and I think to them it would be strange.
right, okay. Well, that's a good point. Yeah, that's true. They don't bring their
Yeah.
But
Their
I believe
spouses.
that's only generally in the context of work.
okay.
Meaning that there have been functions and other things that are outside of specifically work.
Okay.
For example, my school, my first grade junior high school class, so 7th grade kids,
Okay.
had a get together with their homeroom teacher, and their parents showed up,
Hmm.
and I was invited to come, and they said, "Please bring your wife."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she has a taiko group, and they're having a going away party,
Uh-huh.
and they
And they asked
in-
Eric
invited
to
me.
come.
Oh, good.
So that's okay,
Yeah.
but as far as like work
Yeah.
enkais, never. It doesn't
No.
happen.
Yeah.
So let me ask Michelle specifically. So sometimes we hear about, Japan being a little bit behind the times as far as gender equality, etc. So do you sometimes get the question, well, what bento do you make for your husband? Or, how does your husband like you working all these hours or something like this?
I haven't gotten those specific questions, but I have gotten like the, asking me like what do I cook for dinner.
Yeah.
And when I say, oh, well, yeah, sometimes, Eric helps me. Oh, really? Wow. And usually I'll cook and he does the dishes. And
Right.
it's like, wow.
Even that's
Mm.
You're so
impressive, yeah.
lucky.
Right.
Your husband helps you in the kitchen.
So let me ask some what ifs. So you both applied together. You both applied for JET, but decided to go with Interact instead.
Mm-hmm.
And if one of you had gotten in and the other one hadn't, do you think you still would have come?
No.
Not
No.
us personally.
No. Okay.
No.
So we know couples who come here. Both you guys know people. I've known people when I was a JET who one spouse is an ALT and one spouse is not.
Yeah.
And you guys live, obviously we live in a very rural place, which I will freely admit there's not a lot to do.
Right.
So do you think you could survive for a year with no job? Would you?
Survive, yes. Be satisfied,
Yeah.
not me personally.
Yeah. It's
But
tough, right?
Not in, I don't know. I mean, not that either one of us is
Tough.
like the type of person who, if we could live the rest of our lives independently wealthy with no jobs, we would find things to do. Yet, at the same time, I don't think I would want
But it's
that.
different because you're in a country. Neither of you speak amazing Japanese.
Not even close.
You don't have a lot of Japanese friends.
No.
You can't, it's hard, Yeah, in America, you can think, I'm from America. You can think, okay, well, if I could sit around all day for a year, I would find this to do and that to do, and I would go here and go. It's not the same when you're here.
No,
I don't think so.
And your options are limited. And people ask me this question a lot, which is why I'm bringing it up on my Facebook page and stuff. Like, well, what if one of us gets in and the other one doesn't? Do you still recommend that we come? And I'm always like, well, you really got to think about what is that spouse going to do if they can't get work, if they can't get an Eikaiwa job or something,
Yes.
or they'll ask me, well, my boyfriend doesn't have a degree yet, should he still come? And it's like, well, he's really going to have a hard time finding a job unless he speaks fluent Japanese. And so, I mean, you guys are married, so when you both came, you both immediately went to work. And so, do you feel like, is it easier in a way, do you think, because you have each other as the built-in person to talk to? Like, you can vent about your job or the day, or...
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and this is the first time that we've ever had the same job, and so we're having basically the same experience.
Yeah.
And we come home every day, and we've had similar days.
Right.
Of course, different things happen at his school versus mine, but it's
Right.
still, like, the general...
Yeah, for sure.
It's generally, like, the same kind of thing, and so I think that's actually really helpful.
Yeah.
It's been interesting.
I think if I were here and single and, maybe didn't have somebody to talk to every day, it'd be a totally different experience. And it's nice to have that support and like, oh man, you're not gonna believe what happened to me today.
Yeah.
And like, oh, me too.
Do you think the other jets have been, or other jets, I shouldn't even use that term, other ALTs that you kind of become friends with have been wary of inviting the married couple to events, or do you think you're both got your own kind of... Like, Michelle, do you sometimes do stuff with, say, some of the female ALTs that Eric wouldn't want to do, and vice versa?
Sure, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's also going to depend on what kind of a married couple you are, too.
Right.
I mean, we have... Back home, we have married friends, but we have a lot of single friends, too. And our single friends don't have any issues hanging out with the two of us.
Yeah.
We also don't have children, which makes a big difference in our dynamic and the way that we live our lives. And I mean, granted, we're in our 30s and we're living in Japan.
Right.
Not.
But we're awesome.
You are awesome. Let me put.
I like to think so. Yeah.
Let me throw another what if out there. At the end of your first year, Eric is really happy. He's just like, wow, this is a great job. I love Japan. I can't wait to do this again. And Michelle's like, honey, I'm ready to go home. Mm-hmm. Who would have won that argument, do you think, if it had come to that? Or do you think, could that be a strain on a marriage, do you think?
It could be.
I could see how it could be.
Yeah.
We've been together for a very long time, though. So
it was mutual that you both wanted to stay a second year.
Our plan originally was to come here for 2 years.
Okay.
1 year just didn't seem like...
It really isn't enough. I often
enough.
say it's not enough.
It's like after the first year, we're just starting to kind of get it.
Yeah.
The first year, you're just kind of like, it's a whirlwind, and you're just it's a lot of confusion. What is this ceremony? Why do we stand up, bow? What are they saying? We keep clapping. Like, you don't know what's happening.
Right.
And so once that year is over, you kind of get a handle on things. In the second year.
Now, when you leave Jet, there is a conference that can help you network, build your resume, do some stuff. Do you guys feel like you have a grip on what you might want to do when you get back to the States or Canada? Do you know, or is it just going to be like, we've saved some money, we're going to just go back and see what happens?
It's probably more the latter.
Okay.
I would say for us specifically, I mean, we have quite a bit of work experience and more life experience than a lot of people who are coming right out of college.
Right.
Probably, generally speaking, I don't want to say anybody doesn't have life experience, but like obviously in your 30s, your perspective is different than it is in your 20s.
True.
So although we're not exactly sure what we're going to be doing when we come back, we have a better concept of the kind of things we want to do or not do, and stuff like that than we would otherwise if we were 10 years ago, let's say.
Yeah.
So
Now, your degree, Eric, is in English. Do
Yeah.
you have any thoughts on becoming a teacher when you go back, or is that not in the cards really for you?
no, I'm done. I taught public school for a little while in the States, and I don't have any desire to do that. I actually was never planning on teaching in a public school again. I made an exception to come to Japan.
Okay. All
Because
right.
this is the perfect way to do that. So
Yeah.
We came to Japan not to teach. We just came to Japan to have just this different experience and.
Well, you
See
should say not to
Japan.
teach,
Well,
but not specifically to
right,
teach.
that's
Right.
what I mean. That's
Like
what I
that,
mean.
we
It's
weren't
not a
trying
life
to build
goal.
we weren't trying to build our teaching
Right.
experience for resume
Yeah.
purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that because,
No,
you know,
there's
I
nothing
think-
wrong with that, but that just wasn't our focus.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. What else can we say about being married and being in Japan? Can you see any drawbacks to it?
Being married in Japan?
yeah, I
Depends on
mean-
who you're married to. But I don't think that could be
as
I don't
ALTs
think
from a
that
foreign
could be
country,
alleviated going anywhere else.
Any drawbacks?
can you see any drawbacks to it?
Again, I think it really depends on the people, because if you're the type of people like you were asking about, connecting with other people who are maybe single or younger than you, I think
Yeah.
it really depends on how you are as a couple.
Yeah.
If you're attached at the hip and in a way that just makes people feel uncomfortable when hanging
Right.
out with you, or you can't really function as cool, relaxed people, and you may or may not know that you're that type of person.
Yeah.
When I'm talking to you right now, you may say, that's not me, and maybe it is. Maybe I don't know. But if you're that type of person, then maybe it might be a little more difficult for you. But then again, you could be a single person and have mediocre social skills and have a problem too.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. So if you ran into a married couple who were late 20s, early 30s, and you told them about this, and they're like, "Wow, that sounds really cool," you would recommend it for other married people.
Sure, there's nothing
Yeah,
inherently
probably.
about being married.
What if they had a
that
small
causes problems.
child?
I don't know, maybe.
It'd be different though, right? I mean, it definitely added challenges.
For sure.
We
For
haven't
sure.
met anybody who has come here with a child, as far as I know.
Yeah, it's pretty rare even in Jet too.
People have met people here, maybe gotten married to
and
someone
then
Japanese
had a
and then
child.
had,
Right. That does happen.
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
that
people
would add a whole new dimension to it.
It
because
would.
If both
parents are working. Yeah.
And they have to figure out how to take care of the kids.
No,
all
it is.
day.
It's a big complication.
Yeah.
But
Which
people
does-
ask me that question a lot.
That does
so.
open up a job, though, for the person who is doesn't have a job, who came over with their
That's
partner.
right. But I get asked a
babysitting.
lot of single mothers or single parents even
Yeah.
ask me, can I come over with my 3-year-old or something? And I'm like, wow. I said, and I try to like work out for them. Okay, you're going to be working, daycare. It's non-existent in Japan. This and this and this, and
Yeah.
if you don't speak Japanese and blah blah blah. And there's a lot of challenges there. I
Yeah.
think
And
so.
I don't know how that would work with actually getting a job. I wonder if a company like Interac would look at that and maybe.
Put that application aside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. You don't really meet a lot of them at conferences and stuff.
No.
People that talk about their kids or
No.
it's a young person's
Never.
job. They want young people for the most part, and even people that are married are rare, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
think we're one of only a few. But that said, it has not been a problem for us at all with Interac.
Yeah.
And
No.
they've been very, no joke, I mean, this is not a commercial for Interac. It's
Yeah.
the truth. They have not given us any problems. They've been
Yeah.
nothing but accommodating. But if you are a married couple, this is
Yeah.
advice I would give. If you are a married couple and you apply with Interac, don't apply, and they'll probably tell you this, don't apply saying, we refuse to live in separate cities in Japan. Start off by saying, if the time comes, we would be flexible. Chances are, I
Yeah.
would say I'm 99.9% sure, maybe we'll add some more nines,
Yeah.
they will place you in the same place,
Yeah.
and they will do what they can. So just
Yeah.
stay open and flexible, and don't jump in with fear saying,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you can always say, I'm not interested, and back off.
Right.
Yeah.
Until that contract's signed, you're not.
Right.
So that's my advice.
All right. Well, that's 14 minutes, so I think that's going to do it for us talking about being married. Thank you so much. Best of luck in your post-Interac careers,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and we hope to see you again sometime. Bye bye.
Bye.